Okay, so the next exercise I'm going to work on is great for like a Monday or a Tuesday. Like I haven't ridden Titan in 4 days. I've been away on tour. So he didn't get ridden Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, actually Monday. So today's Tuesday. So he's had 5 days off and he's just get turned out for the last 5 days, okay? So this little exercise I'm going to show you now, it's a little rollback exercise. I love to do this exercise on like a Monday if the horse has had a Sunday off or a weekend off or any extended time, because it works on my guiding and it really kind of gets the horse back in the mind frame of listening to me and softening to me and paying attention to me. Okay, so it's kind of like a listen to me exercise. So I'm going to guide him all over this arena. And every 2 to 3 turns, I'm going to go ahead and draw him into the ground, just stop him. And I'm not really worried how he stops, as long as he gets soft in my hands. And I'm going to back him up, and then I'm going to lay that neck rein across his neck and ask him to do a rollback. And in the beginning, he'll get a little stuck because he's not that good at it just yet, you know. He's only learning. So I might have to turn him around a couple of times or soften him up or do whatever I need to do to him, and then I lope off again. But I don't really have any set pattern. I'm just going to go kind of all over the arena. And this is part of the neck reining as well. People think that neck reining is where you go from 2 hands and all of a sudden you just ride at 1. No, I'm going to use 2 hands on the reins, and every time I turn, you're going to see me draw those reins to my hip like that. So my right rein makes him look right, and my left rein and left leg make his body go that way. So even though I've got 2 hands on the reins, I'm always asking him, watch, both hands come to my hip like that. So I'm always making sure he looks in. You never want him to turn to where he looks out of the turn. So this is where I'm going to be guiding him around, practicing my neck reining. Even though I'm riding with 2 hands, I'm really practicing my neck reining. So let's just kind of get into it and kind of see what happens. And he'll be probably a little fresh, but that's why I do this exercise. It'll be good to engage him. Draw across his neck, make sure he looks in. Now on a straight line, he can carry his head and neck wherever he wants to carry it. Now I always turn him the opposite way that they're wanting to lean. So I'm going to lay that rein across his neck, tell him with his nose. Now head off straight again. So lay the rein across his neck, tell his nose. When I say tell his nose, I mean pull his nose a little bit and make it look in. So I've done a couple of turns there, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw him into the ground, back up, lay the rein across, make sure he gets soft there. If I have to, I'll jog him in a circle, and then lope off. Make sure he gets collected in that lead departure. And now I head off straight again. Lay the rein across, both hands to my hips, okay? I want to make sure, now right now I feel him leaning a little bit to the right, so I'm actually going to counter-canter him the opposite direction. Like right here, he's just kind of dicking around, not paying attention. It feels like he hasn't been ridden in 5 days. Right then, he just kind of wasn't putting any real effort in. So if I feel him leaning on the lead that he's on, I'll just counter-canter with my left leg on the opposite way. So I feel him leaning right again. And go straight. I feel him leaning a little bit with his shoulder to the right. I pick up my inside rein, lift up that shoulder. So as long as I feel him leaning a certain direction, I always turn the opposite. Turn him loose, see where he wants to lean. He's pretty good. I'll draw him into the ground, lay the rein. At that time I felt like he got off that neck rein pretty good. I'll just kind of lope off it. If I feel like he moves his body off that neck rein and he looks in, I won't really turn him around. I'll just kind of lope off in a circle. But I'll over-rotate if I feel like he's not listening. So I'm going straight, I'm daring him. He feels pretty good, so I'll go ahead and turn. If he feels pretty good, I usually go whatever lead they're on, turn that way. Stop. Now right then, he kind of threw his nose up a little bit then as he started to turn. So I'll trot him in a few circles here, soften him up, and then lope off. That's just him being a little green. But that's why we're doing this. He feels really straight here, a little bit leaning left. So I'll go the opposite way. Their ears will tell you where they're leaning, like his left ear is kind of pointed left, so I'll take him to the right. Whatever way they tip their ears, usually where their mind's going, where they're leaning. Soften him up, turn him loose. Right then he kind of felt a little stiff in the bridle. Lope off, get him to be soft. Head off straight. Throw in a little lead change when he's not expecting it. See, now I change about 2 to 4 leads a day on him now, but I always change him when he's not expecting it. He has no idea where I'm going to turn, you know, when I'm going to change. Dare him to speed up if he wants to. The rollback exercise is good because if I get to spend some time on a straight line without building speed. Speed him up a little bit. Change leads. Now I didn't set him up very well that time. I just kind of wanted to see what he'd do. He kind of fumbled a little bit, but not too bad for his age. So I'm gonna work on. Probably his worst feature is he's a little bit on the lazy side. So I got to really use my little bit of leg to drive him up into his face when we're counter-cantering. So my right to left lead change is pretty nice. It's my left to right one that's still just a little bit, you know, just needs work. So I'm going to push him off. I'm going to set him up a little bit better on this one. I'm going to push him off, clear the shoulder, and then change. Turn him loose. Draw him into the ground. That was pretty good little rollback. Lope out of it. There's nothing prettier than a rollback where a horse just looks over his, turns nose first. Now right there, I kind of felt like he stiffened up on me in the bridle just then. I feel like he's pushing his right rib into me. So I moved that right rib out of the road. Then I turned him around. When I draw him into the ground, I'm looking for him to soften and just give to my hands. That was better. Lope off. And I do this all over the arena where he never really knows where I'm gonna go. Head off straight now. I might soften him up as if I'm going to change leads, but don't. Take him away from the lead change. I'll throw a few cigars in there every once in a while. Shape him, move his shoulder, and then head off. His shoulders are leaning to my right just a little bit. So I'll go the left. Whatever way I feel him lean, I go the opposite way. So he's left to right lead change. He wants to dive in just a little bit with his shoulder rather than changing hip first. So it's just something that I'll play with over the next few months, okay? It's not something I want to make a big deal of that. Draw across my hip, make sure he gets off that neck rein. Straight. So I just get to guide him all over the arena. And every once in a while, I'll just do this. Well, I'll draw across his neck, and I just keep drawing and just see what he does. At that time, I couldn't find fault. He just kept, as I kept drawing his shoulders, he just kept following that feel. So I didn't need to reprimand him. But I just want to make sure that if I want to over-rotate, he'll follow that feel on his neck. Not too bad, lip off. Now eventually, another year from now, he's going to do this one-handed, okay? Where I can just lay that neck rein like that. I had to help his nose then. And he'll just look that way, but he's just learning. So I'm using two hands. Always ask him with that neck rein. Always ask him with the neck rein. Drive him out of it. He felt a little lazy then. Drive him out of it. So because he's not real good from that left to right change, I'm just going to set him up a few times and then turn him away from that. Do a few cigars. Push his shoulder off, clear the side, turn him away from the lead change. Set him up but don't change. Set him up, push him off, push him off, push him off, don't change. That was better, and that time I changed, but now I'm going to counter him off the opposite way. So I pick up his right shoulder. That wasn't a bad change. Lay the rein, take his nose. Good boy. Now right there, he kind of anticipated turning left, so I'm going to make sure I turn right. And you can do this at the trot too, or even at the walk for that matter. Back him up, lay the rein, take his nose. Lay the rein, take their nose. Lay the rein, take their nose. Until eventually, when you lay the rein, there's no need to take their nose. Lay the rein, take his nose. Like I could feel him starting to move as soon as I laid that neck rein across. Both cut out of there. Now right here, he kind of feels like he's shoving his right shoulder into me when I'm backing him up. So before I quit him today, I'll practice a little bit of that, just jogging him forward, moving that right shoulder out of the road, stopping him and backing him up with a little bit of shape there to the right. Just supple, that right shoulder feels just a little stiff. Now, even though I've ridden him, I've put him in a bridle, I also go back to a snaffle bit at least 1 to 2 days of every week. Usually on a Monday or Tuesday. I didn't today because I wanted to kind of show you what I'm doing with the bridle. But typically on a Monday or Tuesday, I ride all my horses in a snaffle. I just find that if I ride them in a shank bit every day, they just kind of get a little stiffer on me every day. They never quite feel the softness I want them to feel. But if I put them back in a snaffle and go back to some basics on Monday and Tuesday of every week, then when I put them back in a bridle, man, they feel really good. So he's told me he's got a little bit of stiffness in this right side. So that's why I've just been walking him forwards and backwards, suppling that right side. Making sure I can pick that shoulder up. Good boy. So I just kind of let him catch his air here a little bit. Depending on where he's leaning in the arena, a lot of the time I rest him over there near that black box because all my horses get tied up on that side of the arena. So their natural desire, especially him being a stud horse, is to kind of lean to that wall to those other horses. So very rarely do I ever rest him on this side of the arena. It's usually from here over that way. And sometimes he'll get to lean into that wall too much, so then I'll mix it up and rest him in the middle. So I'm constantly aware of where my horse is leaning, and wherever he's leaning to, I'll rest him in the opposite part of the arena. Okay, rest is like right now, his most valuable commodity is air, and so is mine for that matter. Okay, so where I rest him has a big effect on where he mentally wants to get to next time. Okay, so just kind of let him rest here for 5 to 10 minutes till he gets his air back, and then what I would do is just spend a few minutes, just kind of, I can do it now because we're only walking, but right on a day like today, I just spend a few minutes right at the end of the ride, just walking him around, pushing his hip up, turning him loose, just making sure I can move his hindquarters over, like as if I was going to do a lead departure, but don't actually take the lead departure. And it's just a little friendly, quiet time. See, I like that, how he just drops that old neck down there, like that's comfortable for him. Soften him. Excellent. Love that. Nice and soft, and he's back up. Good boy, Titan. That'll do for today. Good boy. So I'll get off him. I always like to get off him, loosen up the girth. Okay? There's a big reward for them, loosen up that girth. Good boy. He gets you back into the work week. I hope you enjoyed that, guys.